All right, everyone, welcome back once again to this Beefcast production. I'm your casting host, Beef, bringing you Game 5 out of this Best of 5 series here in the Assembly Summer 2012 Round of 32 group stages between our Terran player and our Protoss player. Let's get right into it. In the bottom left-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, he's the red Protoss, winning the last two games with some beautiful early game aggression, a 4-gate into a 6-gate robo build. Oh man, absolutely beautiful. Is Quantic SaSe. And in the top right-hand corner, the blue Terran, an evil genius in his own right, but these last two games has been getting a little bit outsmarted by his opponent. He is blue Terran, EG.PuMa. So SaSe, both of these last games, has been capitalizing on the greed of his Terran opponent. Really, both games going for that CC first into 2 racks and then 3 racks last time. But SaSe just able to absolutely brilliantly deduce when his opponent is going to be teching up, when he is most vulnerable to that push right now. And PuMa saying, okay, the first 2 games I went racks into CC. The last 2 games I went CC first. I lost the last 2 games. Let's make that correlation right there. I'm going to go racks first. So he is going to be going for a 1 racks expand. At least that is right now what it looks like. One more of these SCVs is going to be pulled off right now, and that is going to be the scouting SCV. Going to be meeting the scouting probe right here as they go right by each other in high five. Maybe not so much high fives. They're probably pissed off at each other for the time being. But the probe right there, able to be getting into the main base, something that you don't always see, and getting even fight a little bit with that SCV. Going to be able to see exactly what's going on. Back home for our Protoss player, going to be dropping double gas after gateway. So this is probably just another variant of some kind of early aggression, but the SCV is going to be making its way in there. Probably going to be seeing 2 probes on each one of these simulators. I believe that is what SaSe's build right now is for this double gas. And Cybernetics Core going to be going down at the same time. Not going to be banking anything like a whole lot of chrono boost right now. Can continue to chrono boost out all of these probes. And right now we do see 1, 2 probes in that one, and 2 probes in this one. And he's actually going to be going up to 3, at least on one of the simulators. So we'll see how SaSe does want to spend all that gas. It can either be a lot of early sentry production, or he could be going for some very, very fast tech. Cloud Kingdom is a map that does lend itself pretty well to some things like Blink Stalker with Robo, so that he can blink up this location right here. That could be a very fun build. And so we'll see if SaSe does in fact go ahead and do that. The first Stalker is going to be making its way across the map with a chrono boost on it to join up with the Zealot. All of his other builds, Quantic SaSe has been going for 2 Zealots into a Stalker. So this is going to be a little bit of a variant here with all 6 probes finally going to be making their way into these assemblators. SaSe is going to be banking up quite a bit of gas and minerals really at this point. The probe going to be making its way down here, so he's going to be plopping down a Nexus right there. So it's going to be an expand build one way or the other. No real early aggression right now from our Protoss player, but that does not mean that PuMa is not looking for some early aggression of his own. A total of 4 racks going to be going up right now for our Terran player. He's going to be absolutely ramping up his production. And the Zealot and the Stalker are going to be making their way in right now, possibly even going to be able to force a cancel, or excuse me, force a delay onto some of this production on the command center. But no, the Marines are going to get there just in time for that SCV train going to be making their way down there. And the Stalker very nicely able to take a little bit of damage, but kill a Marine and damage another Marine as well. So beautiful job. SCV going to be making its way up here into the main. Going to see the 2 additional gateways being plopped down. Doesn't see the gas situation, but I believe that he already knew what the gas is. Yeah, he already saw that there were 2 gases. He doesn't know how many probes are on them for the time being. Right now, though, SaSe looking content to really just sit a little bit defensive. Stalker going to be making its way over to the 3rd. Make sure that there's no early shenanigans in that regard. The Zealot going to be taking the Zelnaga Watchtower. Pull out right there just before those 6 Marines do make their way over. But with these 4 racks right now, no expansions. It's going to be going with naked Marines. And PuMa's going to be able to produce quite a few army units. Maybe make his way across the map and put a little bit of pressure on. We'll see. 1 bunker finally going to be coming down right here. These 4 Marines will be making their way into that as soon as they're done taking out that supply depot. Gosh, I hate those stupid supply depots. Well, that's not true. I love the supply depots because they help make sure that I don't get cheesed I hate the supply depots because I have to kill them, and as Zerg, you never want to have to make army units. Ever. You just want to make drones forever. And drones aren't really effective at killing supply depots. SCV going to be making its way once again over here into the natural, choosing an absolutely brilliant time, getting really lucky to be honest. Just as the army did move out into this bottom right hand corner, the SCV is going to scout that the robo facility does come down as the stalker and the sentry do tag up to take that SCV out, but the SCV got to see absolutely everything, and knowing that there was no real early aggression going to be coming for the time being, Puma instead opting to drop that command center and going up to his refineries right now, taking all 4 gases at the same time. That's something really interesting to note right there. Puma had no gas at 8 minutes right there. Just producing nothing but naked Marines out of naked barracks. That was his choice. So 7 of these Marines still going to be guarding the 3rd base right here. Wants to make sure that SaSe is not going to be plopping anything real early down. And the robotics bay is actually complete over here. I need to bring that up. Completely forgot about that. Why didn't anybody remind me? Somebody come over here and tell me what I'm doing while I'm doing this live. And the observer going to make its way over, going to be going right across that command center. So SaSe is going to know exactly what Puma is doing. We'll see how he chooses to react right there. Double Tech Lab's going to be coming down for these barracks. Going to be able to get nice amounts of Marauder production. These reactors will start eventually. And these we're going to start Stimpack and Combat Shields. So going to get these Marines nice and beefy. The observer does end up getting sniped there by the Marines, so very nice job. The Nexus going to be coming down right here for SaSe, and these Marines going to see it pretty easily. Yeah, the Marines do see that, and choosing to back off for the time being. We'll see if the Marines do in fact go over there and try to put a little bit of pressure on, but the army is moving over. If you even want to call this an army, this really isn't a whole lot of units. It looks like about 4 Zealots, 3 Sentries, 2 Stalkers, and a Colossus. And a Partridge and a Pear Tree too, but Double Forge going to be coming out here for SaSe. Going to be chrono boosting out +1/1 upgrades, and the Twilight Council are going to be coming out a little bit early for continuation of those 2/2 upgrades. So we'll see if SaSe does in fact choose to go ahead and use those for something else. The Colossus is going to be finding the Marines over here and roasting every single one of those, but Colossus Tech is revealed, so immediately a 2nd starport going to be dropped for our Terran player. Reactor being built right there. Or is that a 1st starport? Is in fact a 1st starport, so that is not reactionary whatsoever. That is just knowing that he needs that starport. But now comes the crucial moment where there are no medevacs on the field just because of that super late gas by Puma. He needs medevacs to keep his stemmed units alive, but he also needs Vikings to be able to deal with these Colossi. Extended Thermal Lance still not, Extended Thermal Lance is already researched, so this is actually going to be a timing here by our Protoss player, going to be making his way across the map, knowing that there probably isn't a whole lot of stuff for the Terran player. Wants to be able to see if those Colossi are in fact going to be able to do some work against these units, knowing that there's not going to be a whole lot of Vikings out just yet, and the probe is probably going to be dropping down a pylon pretty soon here. Not a whole lot of gateways are going to be in operation right now for our Protoss player. Excuse me, there's 6. I've just completely lost it this game. The Destructible Rock's taking fire from both sides, saying, oh my god, I don't want to be here in the middle. Why do you guys both hate me? But Scan's going to be going down right there. And it looks like it's actually just going to be some feinted aggression there from our Protoss player, wanting to make Puma say, oh gosh, well, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. But not too much trouble right there. With +2 going to be started here very soon as that armory does complete. +1 armor is already completed, and Terran ship weapons for his Vikings, I would assume, unless he's going to be going into some kind of awesome battlecruiser transition. But yeah, those Vikings are going to be getting some upgrades there so that they are able to more effectively deal with the Colossi when the time comes. Observer going to be making its way across the map, and it does in fact scout those 2 medevacs. So the scan going to be going down there for Puma. The scan actually going to draw the army in this location, really, because you want to scan right before your drop gets there to make sure that you're not going to get killed. So the army actually saying, okay, well, I want to go get the medevac, but I'm just going to send an observer over there for the time being. Once the observer is there, I'll be able to see that a little bit faster. And so now the aggression is going to come from 2 fronts. However, There are a lot of Zealots and Stalkers going to be over here to prevent any kind of draw progression into that natural, and the third base is going to be defended by the Colossus army and the rest of the units. So nice job there from SaSe, defending on both fronts. Puma really wanted to make that aggression happen, taking out one of the proxy pylons, and feedbacks on the medevacs go out. Does in fact lose 2 High Templar, but no energy left on those medevacs whatsoever, so that is going to be some semi-permanent damage here onto all of these bio units. And right through the front door here comes a lot of units. Nice force field can be going out there onto those bio units, going to make sure that the Marauders are not able to retreat for the time being, but the Marauders in green saying, oh, screw it, well, we'll just go ahead and shoot up these destructible rocks then. A couple of the Marauders are going to in fact get picked off with another nice force field there, but once again a bio contingent going to be coming in here into the third. One Colossus, a couple of Zealots, or excuse me, a Sentry and a handful of Zealots are going to be the preferred choice for defending that area. But right now there's going to be a lot of aggression coming in from 2 fronts right now for our Protoss player. Ghost production in addition to Vikings have started back at home for our Terran player, and loading up into those medevacs are the Terran forces. Going to be able to get everything out of there. No energy left on these medevacs, still reeling from that feedback earlier. So our Terran player is in a little bit of trouble with all these units over here. They're going to be relatively low on life and really only effective harassment until they get healed up. But these medevacs are going to be going back in there looking for some kind of drop play. But all these charge lots and this Archon, oh, the Archons, oh, they almost got some shots off there on the medevacs. And it looks like one shot is going to go off, and not quite. Oh, there we go. One medevac is going to fall, and those Archons are a little bit faster than the medevacs, so they are able to catch them after all. And with that, losing 2 full medevacs worth of units, in addition to the 2 medevacs themselves, SaSe is feeling confident to push out across the map. Going to be working with 3 Colossi for the time being, and a decent amount of charge slots, and a couple of Archons as well. No proxy pylon out on the field right now, so he's not going to be able to reinforce on the fly. A lot of the High Templars being warped in back at home with all these charge lots. These charge lots are going to be 2-2 with Ghosts on the field, though. EMPs are going to be absolutely brutal at dealing with all of these Archons. And we'll see. He's trying to get a couple of snipes onto these command centers, but beautiful EMPs going to be going down onto a lot of those units right there. All the sentries are going to, a lot of the sentries are going to be losing a lot of their energy, and there's not a whole lot of force fields going to be available as a result. Vikings will be coming in trying to force a little bit of damage onto these Colossi. One of the Colossus already very, very low on HP, but going to turn around and do a couple more EMPs right here. That's what I would expect. Yeah, a couple more EMPs do go down. The front line of Archons and Zealots are going to take a lot of shield damage right there. But with Sidestorm going to be finished up here for the High Templar. Nice snipe going to be coming down onto a couple of these High Templar. One more feedback onto the Ghost there. Going to take out one, says never say die, but he does in fact die himself. 4th base going to be taken by our Protoss player behind this right now. And continuing production of his upgrades is Puma, going to be hitting 2 armor and going to be starting +3/3 very soon here. Cloak going to be going down for these Ghosts as a couple of nice snipes going to come down onto these High Templar, but the Colossi are actually roasting a lot of the bio units right now. But the last Colossi are going to be taking a lot of damage from these Vikings. The Zealots going to be taking a lot of damage as well, and the Protoss army actually just going to be absolutely disintegrated with those force fields. The Zealots were not able to get into position very effectively, and the bio right now is just going to get absolutely melted, or excuse me, the Gateway army is going to get absolutely melted by the combination of the bio and the landed Vikings. So SaSe taking a really rough engagement right there. Both players losing a lot of their high value units. The Ghosts all go down, the High Templar all go down, the Colossi are all gone, and but the things that do remain are the Vikings and the medevacs. And that's very important for Puma. He wants to be able to retain those Vikings to prevent any kind of further Colossus production. But at the same time, there is a couple of Marauders down here forcing a little bit of pressure out. A lot of the Zealots are going to be continuing production right now with a ton of High Templar. These 3 High Templar that were over here as well, looks like they did run out of energy, or they became Archons. I don't know where those guys went. I don't know. Anyway, back home for Puma, he has taken a 4th base of his own, Planetary Fortress, moving its way out. The one command center right there that was not in fact going to be killed, most certainly going to live to see another day. Observer going to be following around the army. Double observers, actually. Both these observers are going to get sniped here in a second when a scan goes down. But Puma not paying too much attention to that for the time being. Proxy pylon going to be going down over at the 5th base for Puma. Make sure that he does not want to get anything down there. And even give you able to warp in, do a little bit of a run by for the time being. But the Terran army says, screw that, man, I'm going to go kill that. So making its way over there, but that will give SaSe an idea of where the army actually is. One Marine going to be making its way over here to try to kill this probe, and that poor probe, he just wanted to place a proxy pylon. That's all he wanted to do, and that one Marine's just going to go ahead and check out the location down here, see if there's any kind of more shenanigans going on. But at the same time, Puma is going to be dropping his 5th base all the way up there, continuing ghost production at home, and even getting, I believe that is observer speed going to be coming out right now for the robotics bay. There was a warp prism on the field with warp prism speed. I'm not quite sure where that went, or if it was able to get any harassment down, or if that's just going to stay with the army. But observers just going to be making their way across the map right now. With that observer speed, they become quite fast, to be real honest with you. So that's going to be kind of cool to see. Stalker is going to make their way up here behind the 4th base, try to snipe off a couple of SCVs, do as much economic harassment as they can. Zealot over here, after dealing with a couple of units, a little low on life, and these Stalkers are not going to be able to make their way from the Marauders. One important thing to note is that the Stalkers do not have blink. That's something very, very odd to me. Oh, there's the Warp Prism, loading up with some High Templars there, so might be going for some High Templar drops, some Storm drops. That could be pretty fun. High Templars are going to be moving out here in the Warp Prism. Might even just be keeping those inside the Warp Prism so that they do not get sniped or EMP'd for the time being. But there's a large army coming in right now for the Protoss player. This is going to be really rough. The Ghosts all do end up cloaking up, and beautiful. The EMP is going to be coming down, but all those High Templar are coming down from the backside over there, dropping some absolutely gorgeous storms onto a lot of those Vikings and the Bio Ball. And right now, it looks like the Protoss player might have enough to drive this back a little bit, but all of these Ghosts are still cloaked, just putting in so much DPS, taking out all the Stalkers right now. The Charge Lot's going to be making their way onto a largely Marauder composition, and the Marauder's just going to be kiting all day. And it looks like SaSe is actually going to be thwarted right now. He's got so much money, but he does not have anything to spend it on. All the gateways are going to be on cooldown. He just doesn't have enough gateways at this time. His units just aren't going to be able to make their way onto the field fast enough. This 4th base is, in fact, going to fall, and Puma continuing to rally everything from everywhere. One Zealot going to be making its way over here to the command center and actually going to be able to deny that command center from taking up residence at that 4th base. But an Artosis pylon there going to be taking out 3 gateways, and that Nexus is even going to be able to fall right here. The Colossi is not going to be able to get there to save it in time. The Zealots going to be making their way into this Marauder-based composition, and the Marauders just are able to kite these Zealots all day long, making sure that the only hits that they are taking are coming from the charge. The Vikings going to be able to take out that last Colossus, and a few Archons finally going to be able to make their way over here, not able to be slowed by the concussive shells due to their massive nature. But we'll see if there is going to be any saving grace here for SaSe at only half the supply of his Terran opponent. The Archons finally going to be making their way into the rest of the army composition, but right now these Marauders are absolutely going to be just tearing everything apart. They're killing all of these gateways. The 3rd is down. The natural is nearly mined out. SaSe's got no mining operations continued at this point. A couple of Zealots over here looking like they might want to do some kind of a run by, but Puma, even at this point, going to retreat with the most of his army. Make sure that he does not, in fact... Oh, that is so bad. But Puma wants to make sure that he's not going to be able to get hit by anything that's going to cost him his game right now. He knows that he's won as long as he maintains his lead. Factory even going to be landing over here, denying any kind of expansion that might want to go down at that position. And SaSe using the last of his bank to build up as large of an army as he can right now. But let's take a look at the army size, and right now it's 190. Look at the army counts right there for our Terran player, just absolutely gigantic. But look at those storms! Those are absolutely incredible storms by SaSe. Almost every single one of the units in Puma's battlefield has gone down to red or orange. But look at that. SaSe, even with those beautiful storms, he just simply did not have the supply to back it up. He GG's on out of there, and Puma is going to take the series 3-2. Very nice job there by Puma, showing some absolutely beautiful play throughout that game, utilizing those cloaked ghosts, getting those EMPs off, the snipes on the High Templars. Beautiful, beautiful game by Puma. Beautiful series by both of these players. So Puma will be moving on to the second group stage in this tournament. I'll be sure to be casting some of his games later on, but thank you very much for watching. This has been the end of this series. I believe that the next series that I'm going to be doing either later today or tomorrow is going to be either Hero versus Sort of, that's going to be a PVZ, or DeMuslim versus Moon, a TVZ. So this is actually going to be a really fun tournament for me to do. I've got the entire replay pack. Going to be choosing some games that I think that people will probably want to see and casting those. Get them up on the YouTube page for you all to enjoy. Thank you very much for watching. I've been your casting host, Beef. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for any additional content, and make sure to check out my Twitter, twitter.com/BeefPotPie1, and my Twitch, twitch.tv/BeefPotPie1 as well. I will see you all there.